This week of Sports Daily Trivia is brought to you by Jay Cutler and the Metapumps. What's up, Freckle family? It's Monday, June 6th, and I'm your daily trivia host, Ian Feiner, aka Lord Trivia himself. Freckle Daily Trivia consists of 5 everyday questions with weekly rotating topics. Each day you play earns you raffle tickets towards amazing weekly prizes, including NFT airdrops, whitelists, toys, collectibles, and more. This week's topic is sports trivia, so I'll be asking you all things related to sports. Our weekly prizes this week are the Jacked Ape NFTs, Spoiled Banana Society Play to Earn Fantasy Football Cards, Jay Cutler Supplements, Whitelists for Delta Flare, Metapump, and Tykes. And of course, IRL Collectibles and Sports Apparel. First question for the week. What part of the body can't touch the ball in soccer? Is it the chest, the hands, the feet, or the head? Well, they don't call it football for nothing. No hands in soccer. The correct answer is B, the hands. In fact, soccer is the most popular sport in the world with over 4 billion fans worldwide. Next question is a real knockout. Question 2, who is the current president of the UFC? Is it A, George White, B, Roger Goodell, C, Joe Rogan, or D, Dana White? Well, Dana White has been the president since 2001, and he is the main reason why the UFC exploded in popularity over the past few years. Fun fact, Dana White used to work as a bellman and was once threatened by the Boston mob, which caused him to move to Las Vegas, and well, the rest is UFC history. Moving on to question number 3, the Olympics are held every how many years? Is it 2? Is it 4? Is it 6? Or is it 8? Well, the answer is B. The Olympics are held every 4 years apart to respect the original ancient Greek games, which were also held 4 years apart. The 4-year interval between the ancient Greek games were called the Olympiad. Well, on to question 4. I hope you know your baseball history. Who was the first player to reach 4,000 career hits in baseball? Is it A, Hank Aaron, B, Barry Bonds, C, Ty Cobb, or D, Babe Ruth? The answer is C, Ty Cobb. Pete Rose and Ty Cobb are actually the only 2 players in MLB history to accomplish the feat, but Cobb beat Rose to it by over 50 years. If you count Ichiro's career in Japan, he makes the 4,000 hit club as well. The final question of the day is a tough one. Jamarcus Russell went first overall in the 2007 NFL Draft. Who was picked second overall? Is it A, Gaines Adams, B, Adrian Peterson, C, Calvin Johnson, or D, Reggie Bush? Well, sadly, Jamarcus Russell turned out to be one of the biggest flops in NFL history. If the Raiders would have drafted B, Calvin Johnson instead, they would have gotten one of the best wide receivers of all time. Not only that, but the 2007 draft class is regarded as the best draft class in the past 25 years, with over 30 Pro Bowlers and 10 potential Hall of Famers. Wow. And that concludes our first day of sports trivia. I've been your host, Ian Feiner. Thank you so much for playing. Make sure you jump in our Discord server, discord.gg/Freckle, to be included in our weekly prize raffles. We'll see you again tomorrow for another round of daily sports trivia. This week of Sports Daily Trivia is brought to you by Jay Cutler and the Metapumps. What's up, Freckle family? It's Tuesday, June 7th, and I'm your daily trivia host, Ian Finer, aka Lord Trivia himself. Freckle Daily Trivia consists of 5 everyday questions with weekly rotating topics. Each day you play earns you a raffle ticket towards amazing weekly prizes, including NFT airdrops, whitelists, toys, collectibles, and more. This week's topic is sports trivia, so I'll be asking you about all things related to sports and more. Our prizes this week are Jacked Ape NFTs, Spoiled Banana Society Play to Earn Fantasy Football Cards, Jay Cutler Supplements, whitelists for Delta Flare, Metapump, and Tykes, and of course, IRL collectibles and sports apparel. Let's get it started with the first question of the day. Question 1, which basketball superstar has the highest selling sneaker of all time? Is it A, Michael Jordan, B, LeBron James, C, Kobe Bryant, or D, Derrick Rose? Well, the answer is A, Michael Jordan. Of course, the GOAT, Michael Jordan, has the best-selling sneaker of all time. To this day, Jordan earns over $190 million a year from Air Jordan sales. And yes, MJ is the GOAT. There's no debate. Let's hit question 2. Speaking of GOATs, this one deals with the GOAT of football. How many Super Bowls has Tom Brady won? Is it A, 0, B, 3, C, 5, or D, 7? Well, the greatest quarterback of all time, Tom Brady, has won D, 7 Super Bowls, 6 with the Patriots and 1 with the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Tom Brady, surely the GOAT. Next question is for all of our fans across the pond. Which of the following is not an English football club? Is it A, the Manchester United, B, PSG, C, Chelsea, or D, Liverpool? Well, the answer is B, PSG, which stands for Paris Saint-Germain, and it's located in Paris, France, and not England. The most successful club in France is PSG, and they recently acquired the world-renowned Lionel Messi. It's a big acquisition. Now, I know we have a lot of UFC fans in our Discord, so here's the next question just for them. Who has the fastest knockout in UFC history? Is it A, Conor McGregor? Is it B, Jorge Masvidal, C, Chuck Liddell, or D, Mauricio Shogun Rua? Well, the answer is B. Jorge Gamebred Masvidal has the fastest knockout in under 5 seconds. He accomplished this feat with a flying knee to his opponent, Ben Askren, that knocked him out instantly. Moving on to the final question, and this is a tough one. Who is the highest scoring goalie in NHL history? Is it A, Martin Broger, B, Dominic Hasek, C, Glenn Hall, or D, Henrik Lundqvist? Well, with 3 career goals as a goalie, Martin Broger, A, is the highest scoring goal in NHL history. He was also the first goalie to score the first goal in an NHL game instead of a positioned player. And with that, we are done with today's round of sports trivia. I've been your host, Ian Finer, and thank you so much for playing. Make sure you jump in our Discord server, discord.gg/Freckle, to be included in our prize raffles. We'll see you again tomorrow for another day of sports trivia. Thanks for playing. This week of Sports Daily Trivia is brought to you by Jay Cutler and the Metapumps. What's up, Freckle family? It's Wednesday, June 8th, and I'm your daily trivia host, Ian Finer, aka Lord Trivia himself. Freckle Daily Trivia consists of 5 everyday questions with weekly rotating topics. Each day you play earns you a raffle ticket towards amazing weekly prize draws, including NFT airdrops, whitelists, toys, collectibles, and more. This week's topic is sports trivia, so I'll be asking you all things related to sports. Our prizes this week are the Jacked Apes NFTs, Spoiled Banana Society Play to Earn Fantasy Football Cards, Jay Cutler Supplements, whitelists for Delta Flare Meta Pump, Tykes, and of course, IRL and sports collectibles. Let's move on to the first question. 1. Why is Pete Rose banned from the Baseball Hall of Fame? Is it A, gambling, B, steroids, C, corkscrewing his bat, or D, chewing tobacco use? Well, not only was Pete Rose banned from the Baseball Hall of Fame, but in 1989, he was banned from baseball entirely because of A, gambling. There's been a huge push for allowing Pete Rose to be in the Hall of Fame since gambling did not necessarily enhance his performance on the field, but is still considered a massive offense. Let's slide on into the next question, question 2. Whose jersey number is retired for every NHL team? Is it A, Alexander Ovechkin, B, Wayne Gretzky, C, Sidney Crosby, or D, Gordie Howe? Well, the great one, B, Wayne Gretzky, is the only player to have his number retired league-wide. Both the Kings and the Oilers have retired his number separately on top of it being retired from the league, but Gretzky is also the only player to be inducted into the Hall of Fame 1 year after his retirement, skipping the usual 3-year waiting period. And you don't have to wait for question 3. What sport has its roots in Viking culture? Is it A, field hockey, B, basketball, C, tennis, or D, golf? Well, the answer is A, field hockey. Vikings played the game with a ball and a stick, but we don't know much about the rules. All we know is it was very violent, bloody as hell, and extremely competitive. Man, Vikings playing sports, that's something I would pay a lot of money to see. Question 4, which quarterback holds the record for the most interceptions thrown career-wide? Is it A, Brett Favre, B, Eli Manning, C, George Blanda, or D, Tom Brady? Well, the answer is A. Legendary quarterback Brett Favre was one of the best to play the sport, but he was also known for throwing many interceptions, and some at a less than ideal time. Favre played a total of 20 seasons, throwing 336 total interceptions. Compare that to Brady's 22 seasons and only 203 interceptions thrown, and Brett Favre is probably one of the worst interception throwers there is. Moving on to the final question of the day, question 5. How many career three-pointers did Shaq make? Is it A, 1, B, 27, C, 43, or D, 567? Well, surprisingly, the answer is A. Shaq played 1,207 games and scored 28,596 points and attempted 19,457 shots and is in the top 10 all-time scoring list. He also won multiple shooting titles in his career, yet he attempted 22 total three-pointers and only made a single one in his entire career. That's insane, Shaq. Anyway, that concludes today's round of sports trivia. I've been your host, Ian Feiner. Thank you so much for playing today's game, and make sure you jump in our Discord, discord.gg/Freckle, never gonna get that right, to be included in our prize raffles. We'll see you again tomorrow for another round of Sports Daily Trivia. This week of Sports Daily Trivia is brought to you by Jay Cutler and the Meta Pumps. What's up, Freckle family? It's Thursday, June 9th, and I'm your daily trivia host, Ian Finer, aka Lord Trivia himself. Freckle Daily Trivia consists of 5 everyday questions with rotating weekly topics. Every day you play earns you a raffle ticket towards amazing weekly prize draws, including NFT airdrops, whitelist toys, collectibles, and more. This week's topic is sports trivia, so I'll be quizzing you about all things sports related. Our prizes this week are Jacked Ape NFTs, Spoiled Banana Society Play to Earn Fantasy Football Cards, Jay Cutler supplements, we've got protein powder pre-workout for you, and of course, whitelist for Delta Flare, Meta Pump, and the Tykes. And as usual, collectibles and IRL sports apparel. The first question, what sport was invented by the First Nations of America? Is it A, baseball, B, lacrosse, C, soccer, or D, hockey? The answer is B, lacrosse. Lacrosse is widely considered to be America's first sport. It's a team game played between 2 teams using a small rubber ball and sticks with nets. Lacrosse was originally known as stickball and was invented by the First Nations of America, and it was played for training and religious purposes. Next question, question 2. What Chicago Bears running back was known as Sweetness? Is it A, Harold Grange, B, Walter Payton, C, Gale Sayers, or D, Matt Forte? Well, the answer is Walter Payton, B, Sweetness, because of the impact he had on his community on and off the field. The NFL always honors him today by awarding NFL players who make a strong impact off the field with the Walter Payton Man of the Year Award. It's really lovely, actually. Question 3, what player was not on the 1992 U.S. Olympic basketball team known as the Dream Team? Is it A, Scottie Pippen, B, Magic Johnson, C, Karl Malone, or D, Kobe Bryant? Well, the answer is D, Kobe Bryant. Bryant would have definitely made the team in 1992, but was 4 years before he got drafted out of high school. He only would have been 13 years old at the time. Rest in peace, Kobe. His impacts on and off the court are dearly missed. Moving on to question number 4, what NBA player was known for the famous Rock the Baby Cradle slam dunk? Is it A, Shaquille O'Neal, B, Vince Carter, C, LeBron James, or D, Julius Erving? Well, the answer is D, Julius Erving, known for incredible dunks such as Rock the Baby J Cradle and dunking from the free throw line. Fun fact, none of his teams missed the postseason. Dr. J, way to play. Last question of the day, astronaut Alan Shepard famously did what on the moon? Hit 2 golf balls, play tennis, juggle a soccer ball, or hit a baseball? The answer is Alan Shepard, A, hit 2 golf balls on the moon. In fact, Shepard tricked NASA into golfing on the moon, and the whole affair was very secretive, and the infamous shot almost never happened. Those golf balls are allegedly still on the moon today, so if you ever make your way up there, maybe you'll find a couple golf balls. And that concludes today's round of sports trivia. I've been your host, Ian Finer. Thank you so much for playing. Make sure you jump in our Discord, discord.gg/Freckle, to be included in our weekly prize raffles. We'll see you again tomorrow for another round of daily trivia. Thanks for playing. This week of Sports Daily Trivia is brought to you by Jay Cutler and the Meta Pumps. What's up, Freckle family? It's Friday, June 10th, and I'm your daily trivia host, Ian Finer, Lord Trivia himself, bringing back the Mickey sweater since so many of you loved it last week. Freckle Daily Trivia consists of 5 everyday questions with rotating weekly topics. Each day you play earns you a raffle ticket towards amazing weekly prizes, including NFT airdrops, whitelists, merchandise, collectibles, and more. This week's topic is sports trivia, so I'll be asking you all things related to sports. Our prizes this week are Jacked Ape NFTs, Spoiled Banana Society Play to Earn Fantasy Football Cards, and Jay Cutler supplements, including pre-workouts and post-workouts and protein powders. We've got a whole bunch of awesome workout stuff for you. Also, whitelist for Delta Flare, Meta Pump by Jay Cutler, and the Tykes. And of course, as usual, IRL merchandise, collectibles, and sports apparel. Let's go to the first question of the day, the beginning of the end. Which player was the first ever MLB Rookie of the Year award winner? Is it A, Lou Gehrig, B, Jackie Robinson, C, Ted Williams, or D, Mickey Mantle? Well, the answer is B. Not only was Jackie Robinson the first player to break the color barrier in the MLB, but he was also awarded the first Rookie of the Year award. His contribution to baseball and all of sports is why his number 42 is retired across the entire MLB, and every year the MLB celebrates Jackie Robinson Day, where every player is encouraged to wear the number 42. Question number 2, who is the only coach to win both an NCAA and NBA championship? Is it A, Pat Riley, B, Larry Brown, C, Steve Kerr, or D, Phil Jackson? Well, the answer is B. Larry Brown was one of the best coaches of all time, dominating in both the NCAA and the NBA. As a player, he also won an ABA championship. Wow, this guy is a winner. And I hope you win this week, but first you gotta answer question number 3. What boxer holds the most career knockout record? Is it A, Mike Tyson, B, Muhammad Ali, C, Archie Moore, or D, Jake Paul? Well, even though Jake Paul may have more YouTube views than most professional boxers, the answer is C. Archie Moore had an outstanding 132 career KOs. Now, this next question is for our prize sponsors at the Meta Pumps. How many Mr. Olympia contests did Jay Cutler win? Is the answer A, 1, B, 3, C, 4, or D, 7? The answer is C, 4. One of the greatest bodybuilders of all time, Jay Cutler won 4 Mr. Olympias. Jay Cutler and Ronnie Coleman competed neck and neck with each other in the Mr. Olympia competition, with Jay Cutler finally topping him in 2006. Congrats to Jay Cutler, and thank you Meta Pumps for sponsoring our game this week. The last question might be a bit of a tough one if you don't know soccer. Which team won the 1994 FIFA World Cup? Was it A, China, B, Brazil, C, France, or D, England? Well, Brazil was crowned the winner after defeating Italy 3-2 in a penalty shootout, and it was the first World Cup to be decided on penalty kicks. Brazil #1. Jow, that one's for you, friend. And that concludes our week of sports-themed trivia. I've been your host, Ian Finer. Thank you so much for playing this week. Make sure you jump on our Discord server, discord.gg/Freckle, to be included in our weekly prize raffles. And we'll see you after the weekend for another week of daily trivia. Next week's topic is animation, so I'll be asking you all things about cartoons and animation. We'll see you Monday.